want to thank you for joining the Four Tales podcast.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.
We're about to talk some comics and get a little bit controversial. Everything from indie books to movie to level commercial. With no rehearsals when we converse to coerce you. And then we do the quick takes and try to get to the person. So join us and get your comic book a few more sales once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales. Once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Taurus Comics, in collaboration with Fourth Wall Production, respectfully brings to you the 204th episode of the Four Tales podcast. I am your host, Kyrun Silva from Taurus Comics. Across the way is the Violet Fictioner of Ace Blade, DJ Quick, and together we're your two award-winning blurred comic creators here to help you find your next favorite comic. We're live via Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So if you're listening or watching us live, thank you for your support. Like and subscribe. I don't know. You want to help us? Sure. All your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger audience for now. Yeah.
2 episodes left, Kyrun.
Hold on. Yeah. For anybody that missed the big announcement, was that Wednesday? Thursday? Tuesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Last week.
Wednesday, yeah. This is the last month for the Four Tales podcast. Danny and I are very busy with making books, conventions that we're putting together, life in general.
Life,
and things that rhyme with life. And
it's terrible.
And so we unfortunately decide we're going to take a step back from the Four Tales podcast and focus on those things. Especially for me, I'm going to say for sure, because with the CrockerCon coming up in 2 months now, a little bit more 2 months, I am inundated with things right now. I heard you're going to be in Sacramento though for it, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to have a table or anything because
I already made sure you're not going to have a table.
Actually had no... Are you serious? I'm not going to have a table? Hey, I'll be there. And either I'm going to have a table or I'm going to put somebody through a table. That's how it's going to go.
CrockerCon is a family event, sir. Do not be trying to, hurt any patrons.
No wrestling? There's no wrestling at CrockerCon?
No, we're not having we're not. No, but this is not 5-star con. 5-star Comic Con. So CrockerCon is the reason. No, Mr. Fish Comics. No, it's not. It's not the reason.
It's one of the reasons.
It's a small reason, though.
It's a small one of the reasons.
Small reason. They're all the other reasons are intertwined like braids, and they're just stuck together, and yeah,
terrible. Did I tell you my car broke down today? My other car that I've been driving.
No.
Yeah, it started overheating today. So there's another thing. There's another thing. Long story short, life has been lifing for me. And
hey, you know what though? Let's talk about positives. Ace Blade Kickstarter has 4 days left.
4 days left on the Ace Blade Kickstarter. We're closing in on our first stretch goal of $10,000. So please share it and check it out. I lost one of my favorite backers today, and it happens sometimes. He sent me a message and he said, hey man, I can't make it happen this time, but I understand, and it happens. It does happen sometimes for sure.
I saw the amazing Gail Simone actually mentioned your book.
Gail Simone
and Stephanie Williams has mentioned.
CrockerCon special guest Stephanie Williams.
But I have no idea what you're talking about, sir. No special guests have been announced yet, sir.
Oh, y'all didn't? Oh, my bad. Oh, my bad. I didn't realize that I was just breaking news.
I will be able to announce those once we get everything finalized. But we do have some amazing special guests for CrockerCon. especially if you're into things like, I don't know, Adventure Time, Ren and Stimpy. Uh,
Oh,
we have special guests related to the recently deceased Sam Keith. So, you know, uh, J Matt. Oh, I can't read that. J Max Alexander 6788. Are you guys going to SDCC? I am not. Danny, are you going?
no, I'm
Okay.
definitely not. I'm definitely not going to SDCC.
I've tried to
Um,
actually get in with a professional badge, and every time I try to get in, they say it's closed out. So I'm
oh
like, all
wow.
right. I know I can get in with the amount of books I've produced. I know I can get in,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
just,
sure.
yeah. So,
It's you got to get in early on SDCC,
yeah.
but it's one of those
Yeah.
things. Transitioning to our guest though, I found out
Hmm.
that much like I wonder what the percentages are on this because we've talked to a lot of guests who started making comic books during COVID,
Yeah.
and our guest today is no different.
Hmm.
We got the graphic novelist Henry Brown in the building. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, both of you.
Hey, no problem.
Awesome. For anybody who might not know of your work, Henry, would you just give us a quick intro to you and your latest project?
Okay, I'm mostly a prose author. So I started publishing in 2010, and I've got 9 full length novels and then some short stuff available on all the normal online places. I'm mostly, I write in different genres, but it's all under the umbrella of what you call men's adventure or maybe pulp or modern pulp. And then, I kind of started out reading because of comic books. That's what sparked my love of reading. And I love superheroes from the beginning, but I kind of put it aside. I used to actually draw, and I was pretty good for being self taught, but I never got as good as the people working in comics. And then eventually I found writing more of a challenge. And I was convinced by other people that it was a more serious form of artistic expression. And so I eventually abandoned drawing altogether. Uh, but
I
in
can
20,
relate.
yeah, in 2021, I think I got the year about right. I got approached by a publisher out of the blue who I guess he looked at my repertoire and he said he liked my prose. And so he said, "You ever thought about graphic novels?" This guy like popped up on social media. I'd never heard of him. I assumed he was trying to sell me something because when a stranger talks to you on social media, they're trying to sell you something more often than not.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that he was. Well, anyway, found out later on. Uh, he wanted to publish comic book or graphic novels actually, and I got really excited. And long story short, it fell through, and he ghosted me. Um, didn't hear from him for years. I thought he was dead
Mm.
or something like that. But the 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 fire had been lit by that point. So I had already written a script for him, and um, it was a space opera, science fiction. But I had in mind this superhero story, super epic superhero story that I've been had in mind for like decades of doing. And I put it on the shelf, and I never really thought I'd seriously have a chance to do it someday. Um, but again, the fire was lit, so thus began my long, painful process of trying to make it a reality.
Yeah.
And so I think it was about 20, is about New Year's 2024 when I finally found an artist who was not a flake, who would not ghost me, who would actually more or less do what I paid him to do. And so then I spent, for me, a fortune getting the art done. And I got all the pencils and the inks, and I became a colorist myself. Got about 70 to 75% of it colored when I decided to stop and put that on the shelf and try to do a crowdfund. So there I am in a nutshell,
All right. Yeah.
except for the part that the crowdfund failed. I
That
didn't
happens.
mention that. Yeah.
It
That's the thing.
happens.
That's the thing that happens. I think I've like we were just saying, I'm almost at 10,000 on this crowdfunding on this Kickstarter, but I've done I want to say 10 Kickstarters, and I want to say three of them failed. Like
Yeah,
a few of those earlier ones before I really crowdfunding can be a full-time job. It
it
it really
is.
can. And
Long are the
especially
days where you could just throw something on a Kickstarter and it gets funded right away. It.
yeah.
You have to take so much time and effort and just planning it out before you can launch it. So
Yeah,
keep.
but it's a thing. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But Kyron, like you were about to say something.
I did.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
what
It
is
was
the
a
name?
lot of work.
Yeah, doing the Kickstarter.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. And if I had it to do over again, I would have started smaller, like with a
Mm,
28-page floppy or something,
Mhm.
or maybe a hardback version of one of my prose novels or something. That I wouldn't have to have such a huge, because I wanted to make up what I paid the artist, like at minimum, and that's a big number for somebody who's not known in the crowdfunding world. Sorry to interrupt you, Karen.
No, that's right. I mean, I guess I want to get into it. What is the name of the book? You talked about, but you didn't actually tell us what the name was.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. The name is Threat Quotient, and it's in a conceived series that I call Tales of the Earthbound.
yeah.
All right.
So I
Tales of the
got
Earthbound.
three of those scripted, and a couple more floating up here.
Tales of the Earthbound sounds like a fantasy kind of thing. It sounds like it would be a Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit spinoff or something like that. How'd you come up with that name for your universe?
Well, I was trying to think of something different and
Mm,
something that implied uh, superheroes.
mm,
But so many titles and so much has already been used, and I didn't want to do anything that had been done before. And so when I think from a young age, I got into mythology, Greek, Roman, and Norse mythology, and it occurred to me way back then that superheroes are a form of modern mythology.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to kind of have a mythological connotation in the title. And I thought of superheroes as earthbound gods,
mm.
gods lowercase g. And so that's kind of, while I was brainstorming, that's one of the titles that came up for me. And then
Well,
the title, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead and finish.
The title Threat Quotient is because the scenario is I started out with a multiverse, and not because I want to kill off characters and bring them back to life or any of that stuff. I did it because I wanted to bring uh, characters from different eras all together while they're all young and in their prime. Because I'm a generational theory nerd, and I use that to design a lot of these characters. And so there's a cosmic quake or a dimensional fissures are popping up, and different people are plunging through this all to one timeline. And so the Pentagon works with a government agency to to classify the different, what I call ultra humans, according to their threat quotient. In other words, how much danger do they pose uh, if they are on the wrong side of the law?
Going back to the designs, you're talking about how um, the designs on the. I was looking at it and I was noticing what is I can't remember his name. Was it Turbo Knight? Is that one?
Yeah.
That's the
Uh-huh.
guy. That's the red, white, and blue one, right?
Yes.
And a lot of the designs, especially him, gave me a very much of a feel like 80s, 90s, specifically 80s cartoons in that. And I feel, is that what you were going for with those designs?
The artist asked me when we first started working together, he said, like, what kind of style do you want this drawn in? And I don't even know if we were on the same wavelength there, but I grew up reading the Bronze Age comics. And so I told him, I'd like a kind of a Bronze Age look to that. And that's like late 70s, early 80s, or late 70s and through the 80s, I guess, depending on how you define it. So, and with him in particular, Ramjet, aka Turbo Knight, I wanted a cross between. I wanted him to have like a late medieval period knight uh, look with combined with maybe football players.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So kind
to
of
get
a
that broad shoulders on it and everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Brad Arney in the chat. What's up, Brad? How you doing? We are talking with Henry Brown, creator writer at Virtual Pulp Press today.
Yeah. I want to know how did your experience as a novelist inform your ability to write comic books? What were the pros and cons of pivoting to comic books? Did you have to think any differently, or was it pretty much the same process for you?
As far as inspiration, there's no difference, but yeah, you definitely have to do it differently. Even though I knew going in that I'm basically writing a script, right? And I know how to write a script in film for film, and it's not too much different. Oh, there's all kinds of different comic script formats, but yeah, you definitely have to because I mean you're used to telling a story with words, and now you want to tell at least half the story with images, right? Or you want to
Mhm.
tell as much of the story as you can with images. So you have to think visually, which was not really a big problem, but even though I tried to be more pithy in my dialogue, way too wordy. So I
Mhm.
trimmed it down to what I thought would be, fit in the panels. And then when I went through the letter, on the letterer too, by the way, when I went through the letter, I was like, man, I have to cut it even more. I have to really, sometimes I have to really, hmm, how can I like make that fit in the panel and still convey the information that I wanted it to? So yeah, there are some big challenges, especially because I've trained myself to be a word person over the last several decades.
Yeah, I think the for me, I started with novels also, but they were superhero novels for Ace Blade, and I think for me that was one of the biggest things, telling the story, letting the art tell the story rather than being so descriptive about it,
Yeah,
and then the dialogue. I'm also a letterer, so the dialogue, and I had to teach another one of the guys who are in the universe here. He's even more loquacious than I am when it comes to
oh boy.
words. So Morgan Iverson, he loves to have that dialogue in there, but it covers up some of the art. You got to let the art
Yeah.
tell the story, and I think that was my biggest change too. Kyron, you're a an artist, but you also write. Do you think you being an artist had helped you inform the writing process, the opposite of us?
I guess probably so, because when I was doing my first book, since I did the writing and the artwork and the lettering, I was able to look at it in a different lens than you would probably would as a writer. But it was a lot of trial and error. The very first, I think the first six issues I did, I was like, all right, I want to say by the sixth issue, I got better at figuring out how many words, things like that I needed per page, per panel. But even now, when I've just finished up the fifth issue of Saw the Lightning Widower, which is in production right now. Talking with the letter on that, she's like, "Hey, you still overwrite at times." So it's just even after all these years of making comics, I still have things I'm working on. Henry, for you, because this book that you have has a lot of characters in it. Was that hard for you to sort of juggle, you know, dealing with so many characters in a book, especially with this your being your first comic book?
Well, in a way, no, because I tend to do that. Like with my military thrillers, I had a pretty big cast of characters. So for whatever reason, I'm pretty comfortable handling a big cast like that. But the problem is, in a comic or graphic novel, you need so many more pages
Mm.
to tell the same amount of story that you do in prose. So I've made three of those characters, excuse me, I made them like the primary protagonists
Mm.
of the first issue in the series. And there are some really cool characters that are kind of relegated to the background just because if I let them all shine in this first story, it'd probably be 300 pages instead of 108 pages.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think the generational archetype thing. I heard you talking about it in another interview. I think that's a pretty cool concept to have these different, um, characters from different generations. Who are all sharing kind of a same goal, but are different kind of people. I think that's interesting. Do you think because I know for me, my military experience helped me see a lot of different types of people. Do you think that your military experience may have informed you on these different kind of archetypes?
Well, it did. It definitely taught me a lot about other human beings. I grew up kind of isolated at times, uh, and so I didn't. I ran. Well, you know what it's like in the military. You meet all kinds of people,
For sure.
and there's some good parts of that. Like by the time I was done with jump school and everything, I literally didn't notice what color anyone was. So, which I see as a positive. But on the other hand, my opinion of the human race in general went down somewhat while I was in. So yeah, and I have actually taken some of the characters I've written. I've taken them directly from people I knew, especially when I was in the airborne.
Fish in the comments said, "How is it different doing it by yourself post working, besides working with the team?" I'll answer really quick. The biggest difference for me, Fish, is I don't have a lot of people to bounce ideas off of when I'm doing a book by myself compared to working with, my artists, things like that. I can bounce ideas off of others and get their feedback when I'm working on a team compared with myself. I don't really have to, I don't have to talk to people. They have nobody to tell me, hey, this was bad. Hey, this was good. Things like that. So that's probably the biggest difference. Henry, for you, since you're working with the team, what was that like for you? Were you able to maybe go back and forth with your team or with your artist and be like, hey, I like that, and he give you that feedback like, well, no, I think this is better? Were you able to do things like that?
Well, just to make sure everyone understands where I'm coming from, the team consists of the artist and then all these other different roles that I'm fulfilling.
Yeah.
So there's two of us.
It's a small team. It's just a small team.
Yeah. But it's got its challenges. And I'd had such a bad experience with artists before I found Luke, that I was really gun shy and really paranoid that I'd get halfway through it and he'd ghost on me and jump ship to something else. Or, after I'd invested all this money, then my artist is gone. And now what do I do? So there were times when, and he was juggling, I think, 2 or 3 projects at the time, and he was fitting me in where he could. And so sometimes he forgot how he drew a certain thing before and he did it different later on. And I go through and correct that myself. But sometimes he just, even though I was very specific and very detailed in my script, sometimes he just forgot or didn't see something I put in there. And quite often, because again, I was worried about, how mercurial is he? And, if I'm too demanding, is he going to say, I don't want this anymore, just take off. So a lot of times I just let it go. But there were a couple times when I said, dude, I really need this. I really need this in the panel. It's vital. So, for the story. And he would go back and he did go back and change a few things when I asked him to.
Nice. Just from my experience, if you have a good communication with your artist, as long as you're not overdoing things, like just nitpicking every little thing on the page, a couple of changes here and there, I think most artists are fine with that. But if you're like being very stringent, like, hey, his arm needs to be at a 45-degree angle instead of a 30-degree angle or something like that, that's when us as artists are like, all right, dude, you hired me for a reason. Let me do my thing.
Yeah.
Or if you ask them to draw more horses, they just
I hate drawing horses for you, Danny. I'm
just
gonna not draw this fourth. I already drew third issue, didn't I? I'm not gonna draw the
you
fourth
already
issue.
did. I'm gonna do less horses in issue 3.
And
It'll
more
be dogs.
corgis.
More corgis. Okay, well, I think it's time for my favorite part of the show. Quick takes. Kyrun, whenever you're ready. All right, Mr. Brown. So Quick Takes, if you've never seen the show before, Quick Takes is a rapid Q&A session where we grill our guests on their deepest, darkest secrets from the internet. These questions are just designed for our audience to get to know you a little bit better. And the whole concept is we're going to ask you 5 questions. You're going to have 45 seconds each to answer them. So these are rapid fire questions off the top of your head. And we'll start with question number 1. I was over on your website, checking out your comics, and it looks like you have, the desire to make visual storytelling great again. And you kind of touched on this earlier with your reference to the Bronze Age, but tell us what that means to you in 45 seconds.
I think comics need to get back to heroism and telling good, strong stories. Just because it's a visual medium, to me, that doesn't mean you can just throw a bunch of pictures together and what's the word I'm looking for? Not concentrate enough on the writing.
Absolutely. Awesome. Question number 2. We talked a little bit earlier about your Kickstarter not being successful. And like we said, that's a thing that happens in crowdfunding, especially in indie comics. But I'm more curious about the lessons that you've learned about crowdfunding with the unsuccessful Kickstarter.
Okay, so like I said earlier, my advice for someone else starting out like I did would be start on something small if you can, if you don't already have a 108-page graphic novel that you want to try selling. And then also pay attention to the tiers and add stuff like posters and bookmarks and things like that. Because a lot of it depends on your salesmanship more than the craft that you put into the project you're trying to sell.
Yeah, that's valid. All right, question number 3. We love spoilers on this show. We love to for our guests to tell us something that they might not tell other people other places. So what are some inside details that you could share with us about Tales of the Earthbound?
Okay, so one of them, I guess only a few people know about it, but I have talked about it before, and that is that with most of my characters, I developed them using generational theory, and I used the 4 different generational archetypes to put them together. Another one is my color scheme. So I'm a child of the 80s. I grew up loving comic books, and of course we wore loud neon colors when we got the chance. So I like bright, loud colors, but apparently most people find them offensive. So to be safe, I took the color scheme for most of my heroes. I borrowed from NFL teams. So, for instance, Dr. Detente has got a 49er color scheme, and
that's why he's the best.
Mindbender and She-Master have a Seattle Seahawks color scheme, the one with the bright green.
Yeah, that guy sucked. I remember reading that. That guy sucked.
Right. You could say Ramjet has a the old New England Patriot color scheme.
Yep.
But Thunderstreak, who's the speedster, he's from a made up African country that is not Wakanda. But I took a Nigerian flag to get the color scheme for his costume. And then Captain Dynamo, I took it from take your pick. One of the old San Diego Charger uniforms or the current Los Angeles Ram uniforms.
Mm.
So if someone complains about the color scheme of my characters, they have to go to the NFL and lodge their complaint there.
All right. Question number 4. You talked about
Danny, you're breaking up, dude.
a letter and a color. If you could only do one of those 3 things for the rest of your comic book career, which one would you stick with?
Did you catch that, Kyrun?
I think I heard him say, because he was breaking up a lot. I think he said if you could only do writing, lettering, or coloring, which one would you do, like, for the rest of your career?
Writing, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was quick and simple.
Yeah.
Okay. I think he
I love
dropped
to
out.
write. Yeah, looks like it.
Oh,
Yeah, I love to write. I don't normally. I hear other writers complain about writer's block, but I very rarely suffer it.
Was that the right question, Danny?
Yeah, that was good. Am I still breaking up, or can you hear me better?
Much
We
better.
can hear
now.
you. You're freezing though. Like you're lagging a little bit. We can hear you though.
Okay, so let me get to question number 5 before I totally black out. We'd like to get our guests to do a top 5 list, and I want to know. I looked up a list of 77 character archetypes. I want to know what are your top 5 character archetypes.
Oh.
That's a hard one.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even sure I'm going to get these names right, but I do like the. Well, let's start with the aspirational hero.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's a good one. I also like anti-hero, the anti-hero. I like the destroyer as an archetype. Let's see, again, I'm not sure if that's even one of them on your list of 77. But look at the Golden Age submariner or submariner. He was a destroyer type. And then Captain America and Superman would be the aspirational hero. I do like, the vigilante. I do like the vigilante, the lone fox outsmarting the hunters kind of thing.
Nice.
And that's 4, right?
Yep.
So I think the trickster would be another one that I really like.
There we go. Yeah, that's excellent. That's 5 classics right there. Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you for doing that for us. This week, Quick Takes is brought to you by LoreCon, which is going to be in Durham, North Carolina, September 26th and 27th. Definitely go check out LoreCon. I'll be there, and I'll have some exclusive covers just for the show. Back to you, Kyrun.
So, Danny, when are you gonna get me over to LoreCon? I want to be part of this too.
Man, I barely got in myself, Kyrun.
All right, whatever, man. All right, Henry, we appreciate you being on and being part of the show, but we want to make sure our listeners and followers, keep up with you. Instant Comics, what's up, Sean? If you guys want to check out Sean's book, I Drive for Server issue 3 is now available on Kickstarter. I think he's almost funded too. But definitely go check it out. But Henry, for you, where's the best places online for people to follow you and keep up with your works?
Definitely check out my website, virtualpulppress.com. And then I'm on Substack and I'm on X as Machine Trooper. And I think that's about it. Yeah, if you go to one, those are the places I hang out on the most, or that are the best to get a hold of me.
Okay.
And on my website, you can actually, I have a bookstore now where you can buy ebooks on my website. You can read descriptions of them, and you can also preview most of Threat Quotient, my graphic novel, is uploaded on the site as well.
Okay. All right, Danny, where's the best places online for us to keep up with your work?
If you want to find me, go to Kickstarter and search for Ace Blade. Other than that, I'm at.
I think he froze.
It looks like he's back now. Maybe. Yeah.
Nope. Nah, he's not. I think he was gonna say he's at the Ace Blade on all social media platforms, or you can go to fourthwallpros.com. I think so, because that's what he normally says. But you never know. For me though, if you guys want to check my workout, you can go to tauruscomics.com. I am on all social media platforms at Taurus Comics. And if this is the first time you've ever checked out our podcast for some reason, you can go to our website, fourtailspodcast.com. That is the number 4, TALES podcast. You can re-listen to this episode or our previous 203 episodes. You can buy merchandise, support us that way. Join us next week, though, where we have, who do we have? Oh, yeah, Elliot Duque Estrada is going to be on. He's actually from North Carolina, where Danny is at. So we're going to talk to him about his books. And this will be our last interview, guys. So join us then, because on the 31st, we're just going to do a Fortnite Friday and have some fun. And then that's going to be the end. Until then, though, everybody, sayonara, goodbye, and please take care of yourselves.
Yeah, appreciate.
Music provided by my brother, Quix Made It. Find him online in YouTube, Instagram, and SoundCloud.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.